Hello and welcome to Simple English Talk. Thank you for joining me today. In this video, we will explore why you should listen first when learning English and how you can learn English just like a child. Listening is the foundation of language, and understanding this can transform the way you learn. If you are ready to improve your English in a deep and meaningful way, you are in the right place. Remember to subscribe to Simple English Talk so you don't miss any of our lessons and motivational stories. Let's begin this journey together. Section 1. The beginning of all language. In the beginning, there is no voice, no sentence, no definition. There is only awareness. A quiet presence that listens without needing to understand. This is the earliest form of learning. It is not built on effort, but on openness. It begins in silence and trust. A child listens long before they ever speak. Not once, not twice, but hundreds of times. They hear the same phrases, the same sounds, the same laughter and comfort in the voices around them. They do not try to memorize. They do not force themselves to repeat. They simply listen, because listening is natural. And slowly, without even noticing, the language begins to grow inside them. Imagine that. A child, surrounded by sound, not knowing what it all means, yet receiving it fully. Their ears become the first teachers. Long before the mouth forms a single word, the ear has already built a small universe of meaning. This is why listening must come first. Not just in childhood, but in every new language we try to learn. If you are beginning your English journey, you must allow yourself to return to this place, a place of silence, a place of observation, a place where the mind is not rushing to respond but patiently absorbing. There is something sacred in this process, something almost forgotten in the modern way of learning. Today, we are often told to speak as quickly as possible, to produce language, to show progress. But what if the greatest progress is invisible? What if the true beginning is not loud, but quiet? Listening allows you to feel the rhythm of English before you try to follow it. It lets your mind become familiar with sounds that will soon become your own. And here's the beauty of it. When you listen deeply, you are not just hearing words. You are hearing patterns, energy, emotion, and intention. The voice carries more than meaning. It carries life. This is why a child can sense anger or kindness, even if they don't know the words. The music of speech tells them everything. In the same way, when you listen to English as a beginner, you are absorbing more than vocabulary. You are learning the music of the language. So before you open a book, before you try to repeat sentences, give yourself the gift of listening. Let the sound enter your world. Let it stay. Let it become familiar. There is no pressure here, no need to speak yet, only the calm, steady act of listening with your whole being. Section 2. Listening is remembering. When you listen to English, you are not simply learning something new. You are remembering something ancient, something buried beneath years of trying too hard, beneath school tests, forgotten notebooks, and the noise of expectations. You are remembering how to receive, how to be still, how to learn like you once did, before you even knew the word learn. There is a quiet intelligence inside every human being that does not need instructions to grow. It learns by listening, not by force. It learns by trusting, not by rushing. There was a time when your steps were uncertain and your words were unclear. But you still learned to walk, to run, to speak your first language without ever needing a classroom. This is the kind of learning that listening brings back. It is not loud. It does not demand perfection. It invites you to slow down, to stop chasing answers, to simply be present with the sound of the language, as if it were the sound of the rain, the waves, or the breath of the wind. When you allow yourself to listen, you begin to notice something unusual. A part of you relaxes. The mind softens its grip. The heart becomes quiet. You are no longer trying to prove anything. You are simply there, open and aware. And in that space, something subtle begins to shift. The language begins to take root, not as knowledge, but as memory, not as effort, but as feeling. Think of a tree. Its roots grow in silence, hidden beneath the surface. You do not see the roots growing. You only see the leaves when the time is right. Listening is like that. The words you hear today may not be used tomorrow, but they settle inside you. They rest. They wait. Until one day, they become part of your voice. You will not even remember how it happened, but you will know it did. Listening is remembering the joy of learning without fear. It is remembering the beauty of not understanding everything and yet trusting that one day you will. It is returning to the beginning, not to weakness, but to power, to the quiet strength of someone who knows how to listen deeply. This is not the learning that impresses others. This is the learning that changes you. Let your ears become your guide. Let your heart remember how it once learned everything it now knows. Listen, not to study, but to remember who you already are. Section 3. The language of the heart. The first language you ever knew was never taught to you. It was not written in a book. It was not corrected by a teacher. It was the language of comfort, of rhythm, of closeness. You heard it in the way your mother called your name, not just with her voice, but with her entire soul. You heard it in the soft humming of lullabies at night, in the quiet whispers of bedtime stories, in the joyful chaos of family laughter. Those sounds didn't carry grammar. They carried safety. And it was through that feeling, not through studying, that you began to understand. This is how language truly enters us. Through the heart first, not the mind. When you listen to English, do not separate yourself from that part of you that once learned through love. Learning a language is not a cold, mechanical act. It is a deeply human one, a personal one. The ear hears, yes, but the heart decides what stays. That is why listening is such a sacred step, because it allows you to build a bond not just with the language, but with its spirit. Imagine listening to someone not as a student, but as someone who cares, someone who is being told a story on a quiet night. You are not trying to analyze, you are not trying to memorize, you are simply present, breathing in the feeling of the voice, the pauses, the colors inside the words. Something in you begins to awaken. You begin to understand even before you understand. The sounds wrap around your emotions like a blanket. They reach places that grammar cannot touch. They speak to the child in you, the child who once listened to the world with wonder, not fear, with curiosity, not stress. The child who was not afraid to be imperfect, because being imperfect was part of being alive. When you return to listening with that same openness, the language begins to trust you, and you begin to trust yourself. Many people think they must first understand every word before they can feel confident. But the opposite is true. If you allow yourself to feel the language first, your understanding will follow. It will not come from pressure. It will come from connection, from the emotional relationship you build through every listening experience. Let the heart lead. Let the words speak to your emotions, because long before your mouth can speak fluently, your heart can already understand deeply. This is the true beginning of fluency, not just in sound, but in feeling. Section 4. The power of invisible practice. Not all progress is visible. Not all effort makes noise. The deepest growth often happens in silence, away from applause, far from recognition. This is the nature of listening. It is quiet. It is gentle. But it is powerful. Every time you choose to listen to English, even if you do not understand, your mind is doing something extraordinary. It is making space. It is absorbing sound, tone, rhythm, and emotion. You may not feel it right away. You may doubt that anything is happening, but something is. Something always is. This is the power of invisible practice. It does not demand your perfection. It does not need you to perform. It only asks for your presence, to show up each day, to let the language move through you, to be patient while your brain connects what your ears have heard to what your mouth will one day say. There is no rush, no race. You are not late. You are growing, even if no one sees it. Think of a musician who listens to melodies before ever playing an instrument. Think of a dancer who watches movement before stepping on the floor. Listening is the first movement of the soul toward fluency. It prepares you in ways that books cannot. It shapes your inner world quietly, like water carving through stone over time. It builds memory. It awakens instinct. It forms an inner echo of the language, so that when you speak, it feels natural, because it has lived in you long before. The world often celebrates what is loud and fast, but you must learn to celebrate what is quiet and deep. Your listening practice is not small. It is sacred. Each time you listen, even without understanding, you are training your intuition. You are giving your brain a gift that will bloom later, in unexpected ways. One day, you will hear a phrase and suddenly know its meaning. You will speak a sentence without thinking, and someone will ask, "How did you do that?" You will smile, because you will know the answer lives in every silent moment you once gave to listening. Let go of the need to measure yourself. Stop comparing your journey with others. You are not here to impress. You are here to grow, gently, quietly, powerfully. Let the English language unfold inside you like dawn breaking open the sky. Be consistent. Be kind to yourself. And trust the process. The roots are growing. Even now. Section 5. Listening is becoming. There is a moment, quiet yet profound, when listening shifts from being an action to becoming a part of your very essence. It is no longer about hearing sounds or understanding words. It is about the language settling into your spirit like a second heartbeat, steady and familiar. English begins to live inside you, not as a subject to study, but as a breath you draw naturally, a rhythm flowing through your veins. This transformation is subtle and sacred. It does not announce itself with fanfare. Instead, it grows quietly, like the dawn breaking softly over the horizon. You begin to notice English everywhere, in the rustle of leaves, in the hum of distant conversations, in the music of the city. Even in silence, it whispers to you. The language becomes part of your internal world. You start to think in English without effort. Your dreams carry its sounds. Your feelings are touched by its flow. This is the moment when learning ceases to be a challenge and becomes a way of being. A child never sets out to master a language. They do not make plans or study charts. They simply live within the soundscape of their world. They absorb the language as naturally as they breathe air. Their journey is one of becoming, not of conquering. This is your path too, to become the language you wish to speak, to embody its spirit and melody. When you listen with intention and consistency, you open the door to this transformation. It asks nothing more than your presence, your willingness to immerse yourself in the sounds, the pauses, the laughter, and even the silence between words. Over time, these elements knit themselves into the fabric of your identity. The gift of listening is the gift of becoming. It allows the language to grow roots deep within your soul. You do not merely use English, you live it. You feel it in your heartbeat. You carry it in your dreams. This is the most beautiful form of learning. It transcends grammar rules and vocabulary lists. It transcends fear and doubt. It becomes a part of your story, your voice, your expression. The path to fluency is not a straight line. It is a dance between silence and sound, between hearing and becoming. It asks for patience, humility, and faith. Faith that the quiet hours spent listening are shaping you even when you cannot see the progress. The language is not outside you. It is inside you, waiting to awaken. You are not simply learning English. You are becoming English. You are becoming a speaker, a thinker, a dreamer in the language you love, and that is the true power of listening. Thank you for watching this video on why listening comes first when learning English. I hope this inspires you to slow down, listen deeply, and enjoy the process of learning like a child. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to Simple English Talk and share it with your friends who want to improve their English too. Your support helps us create more content that makes learning English simple and enjoyable. Until next time, keep listening and keep growing. See you in the next video.